What's going on, guys? Jumping into a Greyhound draft. Unfortunately, got the 112, but a super cool contest. It just opened today, May 28th. They're doing a 30K to first, fast drafts only. Um, Looks like a very good payout structure already. I kind of looked at it earlier. 53 seat final, so pretty sick. We're just gonna go through kind of my thought process and how I'm gonna be drafting. Looks like I got the 112, so I'm gonna be doing like the turn picks and talking through how I'm gonna play the turn, and that's pretty much it. It's just gonna be a little shorter video. Gonna kind of throw out the little nuance of the in between rounds and just try to get my picks and try to get a little bit insight on all the picks I give. So should be fun. Um, but I was really hoping to get JJ Chase or like just one of those top receivers. Makes me feel a little bit more comfortable about the strategy I wanted to implement. But um, we got other ideas. We don't have to do the same strategy every time. So let's see what we're gonna get. Looks like Gibbs is gonna be there. All right, so my plan was to go Gibbs and one of these receivers, so that's what I'm gonna continue with here. Um, I'll go Gibbs in the first pick, and then I don't really have a big take on these four receivers. So I'll play the market with this one. I mean, or I could kind of like get kind of unique and just be like, no one's gonna have Gibbs with Olave, no one's gonna have Gibbs with Ayuk. Um, I know people are gonna have Gibbs with Ayuk. That's for sure. Um, so we're gonna go with Marvin and just play the market here. Um, Gibbs Marvin. That's gonna be probably pretty chalk, but I'm sure a lot of people are gonna reach for that Gibbs Ayuk combo. And we have plenty of time to get unique later. I'm not really gonna worry about it too much. I was tempted to take Ayuk, but I feel like that might be a common click even when I'm trying to be unique. So Olave was on that list for me. Nico was kind of in that mix as well. Like I'd be down for Nico and Gibbs there too, as like a kind of unique piece. But I think I like where I'm at here. So we'll see you guys in the next round. All right, coming back around on the 3-4 turn here. One thing to remember when you're drafting these teams is if you're doing like a single entry or a time box contest, is to know that like the pricing of the players don't really matter as much, and when you take them, definitely doesn't matter as much as it usually would. So just something to keep in mind for sure. Just because like some players like Trey McBride and Best Ball Mania flew up the board, and that's something that will be impactful for people drafting Best Ball Mania, but not quite as much for people that are drafting these kind of contests. So here I'm gonna get caught up on receiver, grab two receivers, Tank Dell, Cooper Cup, get kind of a nice receiving core here with Marvin Harrison, Cooper Cup, Tank Dell. Got a little bit of correlation in that Rams Arizona game. That's a very attractive game to target. I don't think it's quite as important in a 52 person final, right? 53 seat final might not be as important to do week 17 correlation, but it definitely doesn't hurt. And I'm getting a discount if anything on it. So I'm fine with it. And I'm going to try to scoop the value at the turn if I can to try to get a little bit more of a unique team. Just so I could show up in the finals with the only team that's like this at all, and no one has anything close to what I have. Whereas there could be combos where people have there's 10 JJ teams with Olave on there, or 10 JJ teams with Debo Samuel, and I'm the only one with a whole different format. So something to think about, and definitely just you don't have to be price conscious, and especially if you're doing single entry, if you have to reach around for a guy that makes your build perfect, then do that. Or if you need to reach later in the draft for someone, I think that's very, very, viable. Like you don't need to worry about reaching, especially when this is your only bullet in this contest and everyone else is getting one bullet in the contest. You got to think about that. Interesting seeing Trey McBride go before Kelsey. That is some interesting stuff going on here. Coming up on the 5-6 turn, got a pretty easy decision, I think. I think I'm gonna go with Stroud, and just take that Stroud Dell stack and just be happy with that. And Mixon is tempting, but I think I'm gonna go with the tight end here and lock up that elite tight end. I think that's gonna be important in a contest like this. So I'm gonna go with Kittle for this one. I'm kind of split hairs between Kittle and Pitts, but I think they're both great picks at price. Just for what you're kind of going for. I think Pitts probably has more projectable volume. Kittle has clearly like the highest up, like one of the highest upsides at tight end in the whole player pool. So I like that for this team. You could easily evolve me to the top. Maybe you could make the case it's better for like a larger field tournament. But I think, this is 53 isn't a small is pretty small in comparison to BBM, but I think it still warrants the need for like a elite tight end to kind of push me over the top. And I like it, and I like getting Stroud. Take Dell is my favorite Houston guy to stack him with, besides Nico. But I do wish, now that I'm like coming back to it, I do wish I grabbed Gibbs and Nico, because then if I was going down this path already, Gibbs, Nico, compared to Gibbs Harrison feels pretty similar. If I'm adding the contest, I have Stroud on this team, so not regretting anything, but I do like this start a lot. Kind of gets me everything at onesies, where in terms of my upside, I have a lot of upside at every position. I got Stroud out of value. I didn't have to reach for him or anything, and I was able to get him stacked with a good receiver. And so I like my start so far. Definitely I can continue to build on this one. Okay, here we are arriving to the 7-8 turn. It's kind of a weird spot. I was hoping there'd be more receivers available that I like, but I'm hoping Hopkins comes to me because I really would like to get one receiver with this pick. Rice is fine, but okay, here we go. This is getting interesting now. Okay. I think I've reached for Sutton, and I'm fine with that, honestly. Or I can reach for Curtis Samuel just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take Jonathan Brooks for sure. And then it's kind of a tough decision here where I want to go. I want to get another receiver. I feel a little bit naked in receiver. I can make a bet on Detroit a little bit further. Rashi's obviously there. I'm going to go with Jameson Williams. Kind of not where I want it to be, but I don't hate it. It's just not really where I like to be. I could have reached for Sutton. I could have grabbed the Aaron Jones value, but I think this is fine. Kind of further my bet on Detroit being, good. I have Gibbs. Obviously, I need Detroit to have some nice plays, play well this season, and have some spike week games. So kind of further my, week 17 bet on this Detroit San Francisco game in a little bit of a different way. I think Jameson Williams is in a position to break out even further. At the very least, he definitely has potential to get a 40-yard touchdown, 30-yard touchdown in any given game, even bigger than that. So not my favorite spot, but I'm never too comfortable on the turn. And then I feel like Jonathan Brooks is just a guy that throughout the season is going to continue to get a ton of work, and he could just be a workhorse all year, similar to work you saw with Rachaad White in Tampa with this a similar head coach. So I think that's kind of why I gravitate towards Jonathan Brooks. Aaron Jones is someone fun, but I think he could be a little bit mispriced if he is splitting with Ty Chandler, or close to splitting, which I do think is possible in that offense. So pretty happy with that start. Not bad. I went through 8 rounds. We have Stroud, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Brooks, Marvin Harrison, Cooper Kupp, Tank Dell, Jameson Williams, and George Kittle. So not a bad start for me. All right, back on the clock here. In a spot I don't like once again. Who's surprised there? I'm fine with the Mike Williams range. He's kind of a guy I see a little bit similar to the I see him a little bit similar to the Sutton and Lockett range, but not my favorite guy. I think I'm just gonna reach for Chase Brown or Tajay, 2 guys I really like this year. And I think I'm gonna roll with Tajay in here. I like both of them a ton. I think they're both, they got infinite upside. Both of them have a ton of upside. This is definitely a team I would be down to get Dalton Schultz at a good, good price. If he's available there, I would happily grab him up. But it's just so weird. I get put in weird spots when I have to pick from 112, but I guess it's good for you guys to see how I work through it. Not my favorite start, but I don't mind it at all. I have 5 solid receivers. I have 3 pretty good running backs, and I have elite tight end, elite quarterback. You really can't ask for much more. I just don't want to sacrifice too many points. Whereas sometimes I might go pretty thin at tight end or thin at quarterback, but like now I feel pretty comfortable. Like I have a good tight end and a good quarterback. With Kittle, I would like to get another guy that gets like good volume because I know that Kittle is going to have his down weeks and he's going to have his up weeks. So like having a guy that I think is going to have pretty good volume, like Dalton Schultz or Goddard, fit really well with him. So I'm hoping I can get one of those guys. If not, then we'll play it by ear and find the best option for me. Musgrave seems like a good one to pick now. There actually is some stuff going on with Tucker Kraft. He's hurt, might be out for a while, so it might just get even more room for Musgrave to kind of like solidify his number one role as the tight end. Even though I think they'll both get used, but definitely just a little bit of buzz there on Musgrave. All right. So pretty awesome that I just get to windmill 2 picks here. I was worried that I wasn't gonna get what I wanted, but now I can kind of just windmill 2 picks that I really like on this team. So I'm gonna happily take Brock Purdy at 132 and happily take Dalton Schultz at 133. So that feels really good just to get that. I feel a lot better about the squad. Two solid quarterbacks. Getting Brock Purdy at 133 is pretty solid, honestly. I don't know. It seems pretty surprising that this room is kind of letting quarterback fall. I kind of expected people just to reach on quarterbacks and just grab stuff randomly, given the room that we're in. But it seems like the keeps trying to say lobby, but the room is playing really sharp and trying to push quarterbacks down. And I'm absolutely fine with that, taking a good value on a guy that I like. And now I'm done with my onesie positions. I don't need to take anyone else at quarterback or tight end. I've used a lot of capital on both of them. So that feels good. Now I can kind of just take whatever values I like at running back and receiver. There's some targets that I have already in my queue. Hopefully one of those guys would come back. I do like a lot of them. Really hoping Polk or Pearsall will be there. Not hold my breath though, because I think they are all going to be gone. But we'll figure out a way, what we want to do with our next couple of picks. But I'm very happy to just smash Purdy and Schultz at that pick, getting a double correlation for my team, and just a good start, man. Love this team so far, and we'll recap it at the end. But I'm very happy. All right, not going to get so lucky on this turn, because every single player I did want is off the board. There's a lot of receivers I was pretty interested in. Even Musgrave, a guy I floated earlier, is gone also. Troy Franklin Wynn, another guy I was pretty interested in grabbing. I'm going to grab Roman Wilson, a guy I do like as just a nice price as a Pittsburgh receiver. They successfully draft good wide receivers often. Definitely want Bucky or Ray Davis. I think Ray Davis is fun here as just another running back that I think is going to contribute points. And kind of like I said, I have luxury picks now for the next 4 picks, 15, 16, 17, 18, 4 picks left. So I have a lot of luxury picks. And now I have a couple ideas of how I want to end this draft. I've been really into the idea of grabbing Patriots and Denver guys without you don't need the quarterback. I feel a little more comfortable grabbing Bo Nix. I don't think he has as much upside, but I like both of them. Obviously, like Drake May and Bo Nix. But I think with the Patriots guys, I mean, if you look at the pricing, it's pretty crazy. I'm going to start doing this pretty often. I've already done it. Sometimes I don't get May and I get a couple of Patriots and I feel great about it. But I think like thinking of the fact that the first pass catcher on that team is taken off the board at 150, unless you're assuming that they're going to run it 35 times a game, the Patriots, then I feel very confident that at the very least one, if not 2 to 3 of these guys are mispriced by several rounds, whether that be Henry or Gibson or Ramondre or Polk. More likely the receivers is what I'm really referring to. Is like I think one of probably 3 of these receivers between Bourne, Osborne, Douglas, Baker, Polk are mispriced, and I'm happy just to grab a couple of them. And I think it's a very interesting way to like get back, um, especially if you're like behind at receiver. It's like a really good way to get back in front of things. If you grab Drake May as your second quarterback or third, and then you grab 3 Patriots receivers late, I think that's just a big way to catch up because you're going to get Brissett playing, and you're going to get those receiver points that are probably going to be pretty useful for your team, especially if you're behind. And then obviously if Drake May gets there, he can unlock the offense and be even, more, bring even more upside to that group. So I think that's really fun to do. So I'm going to be definitely jumping in and trying to do as many of those kind of builds as I can. Right now, probably for a lot of the offseason, as long as the price stays like this, as prices move, I'll definitely kind of adjust what I want to do. But I just really like that idea right now. So just giving you a little scoop of that. And then, we'll head into the next pick and we'll recap the draft here shortly. So as I stated a little bit ago, I'm going to go ahead and grab a New England piece, and then I'm going to grab Jaleel McLaughlin, a guy I like a lot. I think he's pretty much guaranteed to have a role on that Denver offense, and his price is great. So got him at a little bit of a discount, and then I got Javon Baker. So I do have 2 options here late that I'm really interested in, and I'll talk about that a little bit here. Really, the main focus is, I think, in these time box contests, meaning if this contest is going to close within a few days of when you're entering, or even if you know the whole period of time, and you kind of have an idea of like what players are getting drafted at what percentage of the time, it's really interesting to just get a couple guys on your team, or one at least, where you know that they're not getting drafted. They're probably getting drafted 30% of the time or less, and you can end up with a unique piece that no one even has. And better yet, you could be with a guy that you can have a player on your team that everyone has by the end of the summer, but on this specific contest, you're the only one that has them. So think back to Tank Dell last year. A lot of people ended up having Puka late, Kyron late, stuff like that. Players of that nature could just be the main state of the 17th round later on, but right now they could be, not even in the picture. So that's when I want to take those shots, even if they are risking a 0. I think that's like the best time to take shots is like in these tournaments or towards the end of the big tournaments, like the Best Ball Manias and the Puppies. And as you'd expect coming from me, I do want to scroll down for 2 picks here and grab 2 guys that are probably going to be drafted and probably less than like 20-25% of these drafts, if not less. So I'm going to grab Rasheen Ali and Kendrick Bourne. 2 guys I think have good shots of being on the field. I think Kendrick Bourne's a lock to play a lot once he's healthy. That depth chart has not a lot of talent, and he's shown that he could at least produce something. So I like that a lot. And then I get Rasheen Ali is like could easily just jump over Keaton Mitchell as like the number 2 guy, especially while he's not healthy. I think that's just I think he's a fine bet to make right now. Not my favorite thing to do in the BBMs, but in this kind of contest makes a ton of sense. And also a guy that could just easily be drafted a ton if he gets some camp buzz throughout the offseason, just as like a handcuff to Derrick Henry, or at least a backup to him. So definitely makes a ton of sense. So I end up with the 2-6-8-2 build, a team that I'm pretty happy with, honestly. Kind of started off a little bit shaky, but then I was able to get a couple picks to fall to me that felt really good. And, I really can't complain with it. I'm pretty happy with it. And considering I was at the 112, one of my, least favorite spots to be, I'm pretty happy with how it ended up. So just to go over the team real quick, we got Brock Purdy and CJ Stroud as my quarterbacks. And then we got Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Brooks, Tyjae Spears, Ray Davis, Jaleel McLaughlin, Rasheen Ali as running backs, Marvin Harrison, Cooper Kupp, Tank Dell, Jameson Williams, Mike Williams, a couple Williams on there, Roman Wilson, Javon Baker, Kendrick Bourne as my receivers. And then we got tight ends, George Kittle and Dalton Schultz. Fun team. We'll probably go over the other teams at some point in the future, maybe on a stream at some time, but I just wanted to kind of get out a little bit of content of showing how I drafted this single entry. And I mean, if there's another single entry that comes out, I'll fire up a stream, or I'll fire up a recording and try to talk through my spots and how my mindset goes in terms of what picks I make. And I like Eric Gray. That's a fun pick there. Could be the number 2 guy over Ty J, P Ryan's on a horrible pick too. He could get traded. Different things can happen there. So definitely fun stuff. Appreciate everyone watching. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Leave a comment, and thanks a lot. See you guys.